Well, greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the best damn live show on YouTube. It's Lamont Tyson. I'm not rolling with Larry today because my wife said we need a little bit of estrogen on the show to balance out all that male testosterone. So we have the Nicole. How are you doing today, Nicole?
I'm good. I'm good.
Well, let's give the people an example of what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about this guy that you know named Christian Keys. He's an actor, and he upset one Anglo-Saxon female, and she is not having what he said. I know you can't wait to jump on that one.
Well, I wouldn't say I couldn't wait to jump on it. Christian Keys is a very attractive actor. He's made the social media blogs headlines a few times with some controversial things that he has said previously. But this latest round is
before you tell it, let me go down the rest of what we're going to talk about.
Oh,
because I knew you was going to want to jump all into that one. We're also going to talk about y'all's president's vice president banning health officials from CNN because his poor boy Trump got his feelings hurt. Oh, po baby. Let me give him an orange towel. We're going to also talk about Karlie Red got a little beef with Benzino because she said he's sliding up in her DMs. And we're going to also discuss IG Live pulling dance parties. And then we'll kind of end on the coronavirus and should we be on a full lockdown and some other stuff dealing with the coronavirus. Nicole, I'll give it back to you. Go on ahead and tell us about Christian Keys, the actor that you said is attractive, usually makes controversial comments. What did he say to get his butt in hot water this time?
He's very, very, very attractive. On his Instagram, he made a comment. This was a couple days ago. He said, "Black women are definitely superheroes." I can concur with that statement wholeheartedly.
I bet you can.
Anyway, and someone responded back with all women. And so he, it's a quite a lengthy response back to that person, but it was a non-Wakandan woman that said all women are
who?
A non-Wakandan woman.
You mean a white woman?
Non-Wakandan.
Okay, non-Wakandan, fine. We'll go with that. That just means, ladies and gentlemen, in case you don't know what Wakanda means, it means an Anglo-Saxon female or a white woman, if you will. Okay, finish your tale.
So anyway, he responded back to that person, and he had a lengthy, statement, and it's been picked up by all the, gossip blogs and whatnot as to, him making the statement, and then someone of non-Wakandan responding that, all women. But, I've seen this same type of thing before. Lance Gross, an actor who's played in quite a few Tyler Perry TV shows and films, as well as, and his name escapes me, but the very young man from Queen Sugar.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. He's got a long name. I can't think of his name, but I know who you're talking about.
He has a beautiful face as well. But they've made statements, to the upliftment, to the encouragement of Black women, only to have someone respond back, well, shouldn't you be saying all women or, women in general type thing? And it becomes a back and forth because these men will then defend their original statement, and it just goes on and on and on. But I just don't understand. And I apologize, my phone wasn't on silent, but I just don't understand why when a man, especially most definitely a Black man, sends out a statement or says something to uplift Black women, because we rarely hear such affirming statements, that there has to be well, shouldn't you say all women? Or what about all women? Or what about these women? And, he has a Black mama and probably Black sisters and a Black grandma and a Black, niece and maybe a Black cousin. Can he affirm Black women? So I just don't understand what the whole controversy from the non-Wakandan tribe. And if someone could enlighten me, I'd love to hear the other side of that. But, why is it a big deal when a Black man says something, a positive affirmation about a Black woman?
Well, it could be a number of things. You've highlighted that you think these guys are attractive a couple of times. And if you think they're attractive, I'm sure the Anglo-Saxon women think they're attractive too. And so when they don't recognize that they are supporting them, they're probably in turn feeling like they're basically talking bad about them, even though they're trying to uplift African-American women. It could almost be said as, if I have two kids, they're the same age, and I compliment one, but I don't compliment the other one, the other child is going to take it the wrong way. But I think the issue here is these women have to understand the historical context of why Black men are complimenting Black women. Historically, the one group in America that has always been the bottom of the totem pole has been the African-American woman. Reason being, when we got here as slaves and we started getting freedom and people started being able to vote, you had the white guy that had all the power. Next in line came the white woman. Then came the Black man. And then it seems like centuries later, the Black woman started getting some of those same rights. So they have had a history of being mistreated, done wrong upon by even Black men forever. And now that we're starting to see that these Black women have risen to their greatness and men are complimenting them, I can see how it can be intimidating to an Anglo-Saxon woman. But that's not to say that he doesn't have love for you. He's just recognizing the struggle that the African-American woman has gone through that likely the Anglo-Saxon woman hasn't had to endure over the course of history.
Well, as you know, there's a very famous portion of a speech that Malcolm X delivered where he says the most disrespected, the most neglected, the most disappointed, and I'm paraphrasing here, disappointed person in America is the Black woman. So, just because someone affirms the Black woman doesn't mean he's unaffirming, disaffirming, whatever the word would be, another race. Again, I have a Black brother, I have a Black father, I have Black uncles. For me to say Black men, are superheroes, I'm not speaking less of another race because I affirm the Black men, that I am familiar with, that I know, that I support and I uplift. I just think it's always there's a certain demographic that strives to be oppressed. And so they look to be oppressed. How can I be oppressed today? And so, they pick up on these sound bites, if you will, and now it's all of a sudden, well, what about us? Well, what about me? What about my group? Well, he didn't say anything negative about your group. He was just, again, affirming Black women.
You said something that probably digs to the core at a lot of people. Playing devil's advocate here, I'm going to say that I'm going to say I'm someone who's Anglo-Saxon.
A non-Wakandan, okay. Go ahead.
Non-Wakandan. Wakanda forever, by the way. But if it could come off to them that you're degrading their race if you affirm someone else. So, for example, if I'm in a store, right? Let's compare two Black men together. Okay, let's just do this. We got two Black men together. I'm one of the Black men, and I'm standing next to Lionel Richie. And we're checking out at the grocery aisle. All right?
Okay.
And the woman that's checking us out looks at our heads, and I have traditional, coarse African-American hair, and Lionel Richie has got that slick Sesame Street shit in his head. And she looks at him and says, "Oh my God, Lionel, you have wonderful hair. How should I take that?" She didn't degrade me, but she affirmed Lionel Richie. And I'm sure that's how some Anglo-Saxons look at it.
You know what? Then I suggest you and the demographic that feels unaffirmed because someone affirmed another group without calling out you. then I suggest you need to go and lay on the proverbial couch. There's some deeper issues happening here that which, you know, the moment can't settle. You know, I can't tell you why you are you feel again, it goes to not what's happening, it's your feelings. Why you feel unaffirmed because she has complimented Lionel Richie's hair. You know, that's how you feel. And it has nothing to do with your feelings. Your feelings are your issue and you need to get that handled. So you need to go lay on the proverbial couch.
But what is better about his hair because it's wavy and slick and mine's not? That
maybe at that moment, as he's coming through her checkout line, she sees him, she sees his hair, and she's like, "Oh my God, that's great hair."
Nicole, this lady was wearing bifocals the size of a telescope. She saw my head and his head. It's just that he had wet slickness in his head, and when I took off and bent over to give her my money, my stuff was a little coarse, like I am really from Wakanda. See?
I'll just say this. The demographic to which I am a part of, to which I, for the most part, for this particular segment, I'll say I speak for. We are rarely affirmed. So to have a Christian Keys, a Lance Gross, I think it's Kofi Sidibe, I could be jacking up his name. Yeah. You know, to have someone on a public platform, you know, with these millions of followers affirm us, it makes us feel good. If something for a brief moment in time makes a Black woman feel good, why can't we just have it?
Because there's other groups of people out there that want.
Tell you what. Contact Matthew McConaughey, Ben Affleck. Hey, I'll give you Dwayne Johnson. Contact one of them and make sure that they use their public platforms with their millions of followers and have them affirm your demographic.
But what if they want a Black man to affirm their demographic?
You know what? And so what? So you draws. I mean, you know, I rarely see a Caucasian man or a non-Wakandan affirming us Black women. So, I mean, you know, you get your kicks on Route 66. Take that on out somewhere else.
I'll finish by saying this, Lord. Nicole, you just have the ultimate affirmation from a Black man. And you know what the name was? Barack Hussein Obama. He was the ultimate affirmation to African-American women when he was the president of these, I was about to say great, I'll say these United States of America. For me,
your president said we're going to be great again.
When? We ain't seen great. All we've seen is disaster, despair, and division. And now we end his presidency with a coronavirus, man. Good Lord, have mercy. For me, it's historical truth that Black women need to be uplifted because they have had to endure more than any other group in the United States throughout history. So I'm cool with it. Anglo-Saxon women, sometimes you're just paying homage to the stark history of what's happened in this country. Now, I'm going to talk about your president since you seem to be itching to talk about your president. So, y'all know Donald Trump is very petty. You know, he'll hold a grudge until the underwear fall off of it. That is pettier than 50 Cent. He has gotten upset because CNN don't sit there through his bullshitty press briefing that is overlong every single day. He doesn't answer questions. They did a poll, and in the last 2 weeks, would you believe they have caught this man telling lies 83 times over the course of 10 days? So you know what CNN decided to do? CNN decided we're not going to air this whole travesty of a fiasco that's almost worse than Joe Exotic on Tiger King. We're only going to show portions of it. So guess what Mike Pence decides to do in servitude to his puppet master? He decides he wants to pull and block all public health officials from appearing on CNN until they decide to air the entire White House press briefing. Nicole, What does that sound like to you?
Censorship.
Censorship, dictatorship, banana republic, the Starship, all kinds of ships that we've been taught ain't supposed to happen in America. He's doing it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is just downright dreadful. You have the American people needing to hear from the public health officials and to try to combat a news agency, a press agency to do your bidding. You're going to throw everybody under the bus to be withheld from that information in that moment in time because you're mad they're not holding your entire 3-hour-long press conference?
I'm measuring my words here. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure what one would have expected from Mr. Pence. I don't see him as a forward-thinking individual to have his own thoughts, ideas, concerns, questions, comments, whatever. So I feel like this is being, spoon-fed to him, and this is what he's regurgitating. So
that's why I called him a puppet.
Yeah, it's censorship. It's the same thing that happens when in the press conference, journalists are asking questions of the president. And if he does not like the question that he is being asked, he will, say, oh, that's a nasty question. Or he will attack the person's, their physical appearance or their professional, resume or whatnot. So, I will say this. I don't get my news just from one source, and I would truly hope your subscribers aren't getting their news just from one source. So if CNN is no longer allowed to have certain medical professionals on shows or whatnot, there are a truckload of a myriad of different other sources that you need to gather news from anyway. So say again?
Such as what?
Well, as I'm not being paid and there's no ad here, I'll just say other sources. I mean, there are other, 5 different other network places where you can get news from.
You mean like there's Fox fake news, MSNBC, CNBC, places like that?
There's a myriad of different places. There's print media still in circulation. You can go online and find a digital copy, as well as some of the sources that you've mentioned. Most of us who are Spectrum subscribers, I do have Spectrum. You've been given a truckload new additional channels now that we're supposed to be quarantined. So go and explore those other channels as well, and then take a look to see what other news options are available.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is pure censorship over a subject that is just way too sensitive to the American people. We need to hear these officials that have medical degrees behind their backing. We don't need to hear from a business buffoon who's been caught lying over and over. And we don't need to hear from the puppet he controls that at one point in time thought that praying the gay out of somebody was a real thing. I'll say this. CNN covers some of the press briefing, but they do like to get back to real information in the middle, talking to officials, and they always go back to his line of questioning. This is just petty. It's beneath the office of the White House, and I don't want to hear any of those Republicans talking about things that they deem as petty, all this fiscal conservatism and all this other BS that's supposed to be the backbone of the party, because right now you're showing your ass and it looked like a hind part. I'll move right on along.
Okay.
IG Live. This is your subject. Tell us what's going on with IG Live.
In our current quarantine state of the nation, a lot of DJs and music producers and music performers are doing these IG Lives, so Instagram Lives. So they're filming themselves singing, playing their music, or they're doing, I'm not sure if it's still happening, but doing a split screen where, two different DJs are in their location. They're just spinning their hits or whatever. And they're, it's kind of like a rap battle or producers battle or music battle. And it's become really popular in, again, the quarantine states that we live in currently. Mm-hmm. So what a friend of mine and I were discussing this morning is, there are some artists that prior to all of this, we considered to be muted, meaning we did not play, we did not listen, we did not support their music. So the question...
Kales, R. Kelly?
Sylvester.
He's in jail right now as we speak.
Huh?
He's in jail right now as we speak.
Oh, okay. And so what I was saying was there are some artists that were muted. And so the question becomes, now that we're in this quarantine, everybody's looking for, a reprieve or release or something new and different to break the monotony when, or if someone is playing one of these muted artists.
Nicole, can you acknowledge one of your followers right here?
Oh, hi, Dennis. Oh, I like that name, Dennis. Rings true to my heart. I love the name Dennis.
Okay, finish your story.
But, it was like, what happens, are we still muting these artists, or are we, putting that on the back burner right now? What happens if I'm listening to my favorite artist and she breaks into a song that may have been written or produced or co-sung with one of these muted artists? What do I do? And my statement to my friend this morning was, I would leave the chat, leave the IG live. I would leave that platform. I would stop. I'm no longer participating. Because if they're muted, if they were muted in January, they're muted in March, they're muted in April, they're muted in May, they're still muted. I don't support nor acknowledge that music from those particular artists.
And so I'm just trying to understand your perspective on what IG Live is doing. You feel like they're justified in doing what they're doing? Do you think they're wrong?
No, it's not IG. It's the difference. So it would be no different if you pick 10 of your favorite songs from the 90s and I pick 10 of my favorite songs from the 90s, and we begin to play these songs at our respective location.
Right.
So then all of a sudden you break out into a Sylvester song.
Okay.
I'm gonna hit the button that says leave.
Oh.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are just dashing away when they hear the likes of R. Kelly.
Well, I wouldn't say they're dashing away, but it's enough of a concern that it's become a topic of conversation amongst my demographic. And I will just say that I know in the past, my favorite artist has worked with Sylvester. And I'll say that when I watched her IG Live, I did not hear any controversial artists. But had I done so, then yes, I would have left.
Now, IG Live is not quite like YouTube. So from what you understand, how are these people getting paid for their IG Lives, or are they even getting paid?
I don't think they're getting paid. There was an announcement a few days ago from Teddy Riley and Babyface that they were going to be doing a battle, so to speak. And everyone was kind of hyped about it. But then Teddy Riley came out and said they're not doing it right now. It's postponed because, Babyface wasn't feeling well. Okay, I can understand that, respect that. But then he goes on to talk about the platform, and he's going to do it on his own platform, and people aren't respecting creatives, and blah, 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 blah. Really? It's for fun. What I've used it for and what others I know have used it for is a release, a reprieve, as something different. So I don't have to flip through all these channels or go through Netflix or try to find something to watch on TV or call up your friend on FaceTime for the 47th time in the day. It's to do something different. But, if it's going to break down into, okay, now I've got to subscribe to something to see this. Okay, then I guess I'm sitting this one out.
You know, they could probably alleviate those concerns if they're worried about getting paid and just move over to YouTube and go live, of which, as long as they meet the minimum requirements, which I'm sure artists like that have huge followings on YouTube.
You know what? Let me stop you right there. Here's the thing. If you do your dance battle and you play a song I haven't heard or, you know, in 5 years or whatnot, I am a avid subscriber to Tidal. I'm going to go out to Tidal and stream your song. Guess what happens? You get paid for me streaming the song. But if you send it over to YouTube, YouTube does not work when I get a phone call or I shut down my app or I go scroll on something else. So YouTube shuts down. So you have a better chance of me streaming your song through my Tidal subscription than me going out to YouTube and you getting views that way. That's
a good point. But you do know YouTube has YouTube Premium that you can pay $9 a month.
Oh, no. The only platform that I pay for out of my limited disposable income is Tidal.
What's Tidal?
It is like Apple Music, but it's run by Jay-Z and some others. But yeah, primarily Jay-Z.
How much does it cost, may I ask, for those that didn't know about it like me?
It started off at $9.99. I think there's a premium for $12.99. I'm not sure. I've had Tidal since Tidal became.
And with Tidal, can you listen to all the music you want to, unlimited, no commercials and all that?
Oh yes, you make playlists. I have a gym playlist. I get all the Beyonce content first. So I just like it. I have a gym playlist. I have a mellow playlist. I have a, when I'm feeling, and I'm hanging out with a friend, I have one of those playlists. I have all these kind of playlists, but if I think of a song, I hear a snippet of it from like I said, 5 years ago, I can go out there and say, oh my God, I remember that album or that CD, and I can listen to it. And again, the artist is getting paid for me streaming that song or that record. I was just doing it today. There was a thing on social media, and it was talking about who rapped best on the song Mercy. I think it's on one of the Kanye's albums, produced by him. But it was Kanye, Big Sean, Pusha T, and 2 Chainz. And so I was like, well, dang, I remember the song, and it was hot. Let me go listen to it again, see who I support. So I listened to the song, and I was like, okay, well, on this one, I'm going to go with, it's a tie between 2 Chainz and Pusha T. So
that's right. That's right. Wow. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is your IG Live and music update. You can try that service she's talking about. I subscribe to YouTube Premium, which allows you to listen to your music uninterrupted, anything that they have from pretty much anybody. And you can click out of YouTube and your phone still runs the music. You can do playlists. You can do all that. It's good service. If you need some music and you don't want to pay a lot of money, I suggest either one of those two. Now, folks, we're going to go back into that gutter. Here we go into that gutter. By the way, Nicole is sponsored by what you drinking in that cup?
That's ginger ale.
Okay. Nicole is sponsored by ginger ale, ladies and gentlemen. I've never seen someone drink ginger ale in a cup like that. But now we're going to go down in that gutter. We're going to talk about Karlie Redd. and she's on which one of the shows? She's on Love and Hip Hop. Atlanta. There used to be a running joke in my house. It's just a joke. I used to always joke that my role model is Stevie J, the way he played them women, the way them women let him keep getting away with what he want. I used to watch it to get lessons from Stevie J. And then I was told I can't joke like that no more, because if it starts to look like it's coming true, might be upsetting the apple cart. So I had to let it go, and I grew up and I quit watching them. But when I was watching, Karlie Redd was interesting to me. She was messy as hell with her old butt. She if you told Karlie Redd anything, everybody else knew about it. And she's dated pretty much everybody on that show for every season except for 2. And Benzino is one of them. So now the latest with Benzino and Karlie Redd is, tell us, Nicole.
Well, from what I understand, I was going to try to find the exact, he sent her a DM, a direct message, if you will. So he sent her a DM and said was trying to, holler at her basically.
Mm-hmm.
And so she responded with screenshotting the DM and posting on social media. So, the question to me and my group of friends was, why do women do that? Because she's not the only one that has done it. She's not the only famous one. She's not the only, old one, as you call it. She won't be the last, but women do that sometimes. I've never screenshot DMs and posted them anywhere or sent them to anyone. I just think it's immature. If I receive DMs that I'm like, I'm not interested, I just delete it. If I'm curious or bored, I might respond back with hi, but I just think it was something that she did for exposure of him. So I'm not sure if he's dating someone. I haven't kept up with that series, that franchise for a little while. So I'm not sure if he's dating someone and she's trying to let that person know, or if she's trying to be messy. So I just thought it was funny. I laughed when I saw it because I was like, oh geez, old dudes show up in DMs too, like young dudes, it's a new thing.
Whoa. Let me shout out my people support gaming 2020. Mike Wheelie is always here representing the channel. My homegirl Patty 7118 is always supporting the channel. Y'all know I love you. And as we continue this growth movement on this channel, y'all stick with me and I will stick with y'all. Here's my take. Benzino, you dated Karlie Redd. You done smashed Karlie Redd. You know she's messy. You know she is not afraid to run from drama and start drama. Yeah. She is definitely not the type of woman you want to be trying to slide into the DMs when you have a track history of her behavior, unless this was his ultimate plan to get her to put him on blast because he wants to get back into the news. My thing with Karlie Redd is smarter than what we think. She does a lot of that messiness because she's got a brand that she likes to keep relevant. She's got clothing brands. She's got shoe brands. I heard she's about to do an underwear brand. Yeah. Karlie Redd is smart up there. But on the show, she plays the best messy character I've ever seen. But like I said, every season they've had this show, she's had a different boyfriend on all of them except for 2. And they all claim they smashed. So I don't know if I'd be sliding back in them DMs or not. Bruh. And her and Benzino had somewhat of a chaotic breakup because they were supposed to be getting engaged. She called my man a troll, said he ain't have no neck. I mean, she went in on the brother, man. I mean, she went in on dude. And if this is the true story, the way she's presenting it, maybe he just got bored, or maybe he's in and out of a relationship himself and he just want a hot time on the old corral tonight.
Well, there's this blogger, Arthur, that I follow and I support, and she has said time and time again, what's the point of the sale? So if you have publicity, and as a marketing person, they always say, there's no such thing as bad publicity. So it's like, what's the point of the sale? So what's the point of you releasing these DMs or you doing this? What's your point? What are you trying to accomplish? If you don't have a product, a TV show or a record or something to promote or push, that all of this negative press is going to get you or push people to that platform to see that, view that, then what was the point? So I would be curious to know after this, what was the point of her sale? Like, why did she do it? If she's releasing a panty line, I mean, okay, then, you know, maybe people want to say, I want to get some panties like Karlie Red because I want my stuff to be hot and have people in my DMs, you know, who knows?
And you don't want none of them hot Karlie Red panties. Boy, you better watch out. Something might crawl out of them. But leave her alone talking about you want some of them Karlie Red.
I just said if someone wanted. I didn't say I.
Oh, I'm just saying, man. I'm talking about for the if someone want them. You don't want her pair. But is the show back on? Is that okay? So maybe that's why this is hot, or maybe Benzino is about to come on the show.
I don't know. Like I said, I haven't kept up with it in a little while, but I do know the players of the game. I just thought it was interesting that, you know, she would post that. Like, you know.
I would never trust a secret with Karlie Red. You can forget it. Now I'm going to bounce you back to coronavirus and updates people can use to try to get some of the money. So to help break this down for people, there are several programs out there that you guys can take advantage of if you've been affected by COVID-19. First and foremost, unemployment. If you are a gig worker, independent contractor, self-employee, your state has provisions for you to get unemployment. And if you go on the state's website, not during the day because they've been so backlogged, maybe go like 5 a.m. They've got a tab for individuals who are gig workers, self-employed, or 1099 so that you can still get paid. And there's also 3 other programs out there that you can go to the SBA.gov website to apply for. You have the PPP program, Paycheck Protection Program, the EIDL program, which would be for someone who's a business owner or independent contractor. And if you have 10 or more employees, for each employee up to 10, they'll give you $10,000 absolutely free. And then you can get a 72-hour loan for $10,000 that you don't have to pay back for 2 years with no interest. So if you're a self-employed worker and you want to apply for that program, you're the only employee of your company, they'll give you $1,000. And that's how that program works. So you get $1,000 you don't have to pay back, and you can get $10,000 that you don't have to pay back for 2 years with no interest. Then for my folks out there in a disaster that need disaster relief because they can't get their rent, there's a program on the SBA for you too. And ladies and gentlemen, you can apply for all 3. Nicole, anybody in your circle besides your brother might be able to take advantage of some of these COVID-19 relief programs.
Yes, I have several in my circle that have and are in the process of taking advantage of the programs. What I will say to that is this. I do know that if you're able to, the ideal optimal time to get through the North Carolina's, I guess it's called unemployment site or whatnot, to process your claim or to process benefits. Everyone knows at midnight on a day it becomes a new day. So Sundays, if you can, the earliest on Sunday that you can go into the site to process your information is going to be the best time for you.
Okay.
So like, if you're able to get in there on 3 a.m. on a Sunday morning, I mean, technically some people might say it's Saturday night. If you're at D Nice's, quarantine party, you might still be up. But, hey, after you leave the dance party, you come on and log in and complete your claim and do that then. That's what I have known from people that have been going through this process last couple of weeks, is that Sundays, the earlier you can do it on Sunday, it seems like it's not as backlogged then. There's still going to be a wait or processing time or whatever. The system might run a little slow, but not as slow as, say, a Monday afternoon.
Right. And my people, normally when you're dealing with government programs, it can be very intimidating because they try to throw a damn book at you of stuff. I mean, just like a novel, they ask you for so many things. These programs have been streamlined. I went through and did the EIDL today. It took 10 minutes. Pretty much, I know all my tax history. I know all that. And I was able to just go through the program and apply online. They give you a confirmation number, and they'll hit you in the email and tell you when your funds are going to be released. And they do ask you for a banking account and routing number. And it's legit. Just make sure you're on SBA.gov. And the money, they say, takes about 7 days to get to you. And this is all put in place to help you get through this crisis we're going through. And as we speak, the government is thinking about authorizing more funds because unemployment, individuals filing for unemployment this week, Nicole, hit 37 million Americans. Wow. 37 million. That's somewhere like 15% of the American population.
Well, I know that Macy's has furloughed, laid off. I'm not sure what term they're using. Mm-hmm. I think it's either 90 or 95% of their entire nationwide workforce.
Right.
I do know someone that works for an organization that supports a lot of retail companies. And as of Monday afternoon, she was told that tomorrow, Friday, would be her last day, that she will be furloughed for 90 days. So they're thinking, and this was the second leg of layoffs, furloughs, because they had another leg about a week ago.
Right.
So like, the company obviously is looking to say, we want to be back and we want to be in a position to need our employees, but right now we can't pay them. So what is being offered to her is that we will retain your 401, your pension, your health insurance, those types of things, which those are important, but she won't get a salary for 90 days. So starting tomorrow for 90 days out, she will have to go through the website to file the unemployment benefits. And, as a working mom with a husband and a full-fledged, household and a kid in college and all of the things that come with, that it is devastating to her. And, I have others in my circle who, they're single parents alone. They don't have a husband and, they're the only ones and they've been furloughed. So it's really difficult as someone myself who works in logistics. My organization, we're not immediately impacted, but I see the impact. I know of different brands that we touch that we are familiar and, have contracts with, and those brands are laying off and those brands are downsizing workforces because right now, no matter what you make, do, produce, or sell, it's being hit a little hard right now.
Right. Yeah, I mean, people are getting torn to pieces, man. I mean, just getting backs blown out. And for those of you that want to have a better definition of what furloughed mean, basically when a job puts you in a holding position where they're not paying you a salary, but they maintain your benefits, they maintain your health insurance, they maintain your retirement with the thought possibly bringing you back sometime within a short window, usually 90 to 60 days. That's furlough. Most of the time, you can't apply for unemployment when you're under a furlough. And in this particular situation, they're not even asking you a whole lot of questions for you to apply for the funds because they know people are hurting so bad. And while we're already here, Nicole mentioned something today in the email. She asked, should the U.S. have a mandatory shelter-in-place law? Nicole, give them your hot take on the shelter-in-place law and why you feel the way you feel.
Well, a lot of people I know, news cycles and social media and, personal conversations have, compared the U.S. to China. To say, China came out of this in 70, 80 days. And, maybe if we look at the time we started to the time, then by the end of May, we should be coming out of our 70 to 80 days. my issue is China had a complete lockdown to do that. Mm-hmm. So, it's like people still going to grocery store. Allegedly, people are still getting their hair and nails done on the slide, which I'm trying to figure out. People are still doing stuff, and it's not just in North Carolina; it's other places. So it's like, okay, in order for us to say we're going to get on the other side of the curve, and bend the curve, and whatever, be on the downside of this thing. I think that it would take a complete shutdown. Shut down Walmart, shut down Costco, shut down the stores so people can't go out. I mean, someone told me recently that the parks in my local area may be shutting down. Why? So, okay, if you want to get on the side of this curve, shut everything down. Shut it down, bring in a National Guard and say, okay, if you leave your house for anything other than an emergency in this 2-week time span, then you will be arrested or fined or whatever. But to say that, oh well, just stay shelter in place. I was at the park on yesterday. There was a full-fledged soccer game going on at the park. So they weren't 6 feet apart. And, I was there to walk a dog and to get some exercise in. So they weren't 6 feet apart. So I'm like, okay, no.
You said a full-fledged soccer game.
It was a full-fledged soccer game. I watched it. There were cars. I could not find a place to park. It was so many cars.
Was the soccer moms all on the side cheering on them?
No. It wasn't. There weren't little kids. They were adult people.
Oh, damn. One thing that other places have gotten right, and even where they've gotten it right, they still had these shelters in places for literally like 3 months, is while they had the shelter in place, they was beefing up getting the tests available for everyone in their nation to have. I think that we should have a little bit more tighter regulation on shelter in place. I think it should be a uniform shelter in place across the whole entire United States until every single human in the United States has access to a test so that we can know who we can put back out into the economy without risking anyone else. And it's frustrating when you hear people complaining about trampling on their personal freedom when their personal freedom could involve making someone else sick. And at that point, it's not your personal freedom unless you cough on me and I get sick and I figure out where you live and I come sock you in the mouth. How personal is that? But that's the problem when people are talking about these personal freedoms. You are not being personal to yourself when what you could be carrying and not know what you're carrying can make someone else sick. So I agree. We do need some kind of shelter in place at the very least until we can get tests available for everyone. And that way we'll have a better imprint and a vision of who can go out and not be a problem and get the economy back rolling again. And at some point in time, it just seems like for me it's taking forever to get everybody some of these tests. And I don't know what the holdup is other than the bickering that's going back and forth between our federal government and our state governments.
Well, I'd rather shelter in place. I'm not taking any tests.
If your job said you got to take the test, you're taking the test. And that's who's going to.
I strongly suggest I get a flu shot, and I don't.
But we're talking a flu shot. We're talking two different modalities for prevention. A test is just something that lets you know whether you had it or you don't. You're good.
And you know what I find interesting? Everyone that seems to take a test that comes out and says, I took a Rona test, seems to come back with the Rona. So when?
Hey, just because you have the Rona don't mean you have symptoms.
Yes, I understand you can be asymptomatic. And you know what? I can effectively, sufficiently conduct my work at my dining room table. They say for 2 weeks I need to sit at my dining room table, not come into the office because I refuse the Rona test, and then that's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to shelter in place. I'm not taking tests. And if I have to shelter in place because I won't take the test, then I'm gonna find me a quarantine bay to shelter in place with.
What in the hell is a quarantine? What in the world?
We talked about this last time.
A quarantine. Oh.
A quarantine bay.
Somebody for you to be booed up with during the quarantine.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm gonna find me one of those. Yeah.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
Moving right along. Here's another story that happened. It's kind of like poetic justice. It happened in California. There was a guy, a young man, involved in a hit and run with an older guy. I guess the old guy was upset that he wasn't wearing a mask or something to that effect. And so the kid gets in his car, clips the man, takes off.
Oh.
So he hit and run. But guess what happened a couple of hours later?
Oh my.
Couple of hours later, the young man that hit this other guy was brought back, chained up to a pole in that same location that he hit and run this other guy, and was beaten up and left for the police to come get him.
I cannot support that.
No one supports vigilanteism, but that's just poetic justice that you hit and run somebody. And when my first impulse was, this got to be staged. Did this kid do this because he wanted to get out of what the police was going to do to him? Now, the police still took him away, put him under lock and key. He's on like a $2 million bond or whatever. But did he stage that, or did someone follow him from the hit and run scene, beat him up and brought him back like they was Batman? What do you think about this crazy scenario?
Why not take his license tag number? People film everything anyway. Why don't you just capture this on film? No one's asking you to go out here and, make a citizen's arrest or do, as you said, vigilante justice or whatever. I just think that was just a bit much. Just too much. Come on now. No.
So let's just say in the event.
Oh gosh, here we go.
Let's just say in the event these hooded crusaders didn't get this guy, and this poor man that was clipped in a hit and run and hurt himself never got justice. How you feel about that?
That's life.
Oh, so life is people don't get justice?
I mean, sometimes, you just gotta deal with the cards you're dealt. And it happens sometimes. You know what? He got clipped in his car, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I have a vehicle. I pay insurance every month. I think it's the biggest hack ever to be invented. But I pay it. If somebody clips my car and they leave, there's a clause or something in my policy that says, you know what? Look, we understand this. Your bumper is landing in the middle of the interstate. We're going to take care of this for you. There's provisions for your insurance company.
He didn't clip his car. He clipped him, the human.
In his car? Like, what?
The 25-year-old got in the car, clipped the guy standing there, and then drove off. Man leg turned all the way backwards.
Okay, God forgive me. I don't mean to laugh.
I bet you like that black Batman now, don't you?
That's really sad, and that's horrible that you would harm my person with your vehicle. I could have died, but I have medical insurance. So I'm going to hope someone has cell phone footage of this and we can track this person down, and bring them to justice that way. But I don't condone you going out and attacking this person. Like, no.
They brought him back and they tied him up to the pole.
No. No.
Just
No.
no.
I can't subscribe to that.
No, we don't condone vigilanteism in a scenario like this. Absolutely not.
No.
And we're going to end you on a good note. What is good to watch on Netflix or TV? I think you've mentioned a show called Uncorked. Give the people a little rundown about what Uncorked is before we get out of here.
Uncorked is a movie on Netflix, and it's filled with all these beautiful Wakandans. It's just filled with this overflowing. There's Niecy Nash, there's Courtney B. Vance, there's a couple of actors I'm not familiar with right off, but they are in this show. It's about winemaking and coming of age and the struggle for the different generations, you know, how parents' generation versus kids' generations, the mindset of how they see their futures going and how they plan to ascertain their future goals and stuff. But it is as a wine connoisseur, it is a very interesting movie. Even if you don't like wine, it's something for you to learn some things that you may not have known going into it. But it's just filled overflowing with all of these beautiful Wakandans. So if no reason other than that, tune in. But if you're looking for great acting, again, Niecy Nash, Courtney B. Vance, it's just filled with great representation.
Okay. I can get with that. My two recommendations is there's this TV show that comes on Fox called The Resident. It's a medical show. Absolutely love the show. It's got Malcolm Jamal Warner up there, and he's Dr. A.J. Austin, the best heart surgeon in America. And he's Theo, yes. And he's holding it down. His career is resurrected. I rock with Theo.
Dreads cut.
Huh?
He got dreads.
No, he got them cut.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I like his hairdo now, man. He holding it down on that show. Morris Chestnut is on the show, who plays.
Wait! What was that again? I gotta write that down.
Oh my God, the Resident on Fox.
Ooh, okay. Now you sold me. Okay, nothing. You see, you got lead with the sale. Lead with the sale. You didn't lead with the sale.
I did. I said Malcolm Jamal Warner.
Nobody wants to see Theo.
I do. It also has the chick from Black Panther. When the very first scene, one of the two guards that go up in that apartment, she's a head doctor up there. She's a heart surgeon too. And it also has Emily Van Camp from my Marvel people. Y'all know she's a nice snow bunny. We love Emily Van Camp. And it also has one of the main characters from The Good Wife, and I can't think of his name, but the show really ties around him. It is a great drama-filled show with lots of questionable integrity moves made, lots of egos. Morris Chestnut and Malcolm Jamal Warner, you knew at some point in time they was going to make them clash. And all I can say is Malcolm Jamal Warner looked like he lived. Morris Chestnut looked like he don't do nothing but run. But I'll leave it at that. And
he's so beautiful.
Yeah. You know, bowling balls are beautiful too. The other show I'm going to mention is The Good Fight. It's a spinoff of The Good Wife. And it's pretty good too. It's got my man Adrian Golly, I can't think of his name. But some of the characters that were on the original Good Wife are now on The Good Fight. And they just came back and they're airing their fourth season on CBS streaming. So if I had to make some good recommendations, I would say those are some good TV shows.
Okay. And I just want to throw this out there. There's a show on CBS streaming. It's a series. I'm not sure when it's coming back, but season 1 has been complete. But it's so awesome. Called Why Women Kill.
What? Oh my God, Lord have mercy. So, please tell us, why do women kill, Nicole? Lord.
I can't tell you, but it centers around a house in California. So it goes through several decades, but the center is the house. So it's different families that move into this house, and it details to you why women kill. But there is Lucy Liu.
Okay, I remember Lucy Liu.
Okay, and some others that I can't. I'm not rolling off the tongue with the names, but it's very good. There's some comedy, there's some drama, there's some suspense. It touches on, again, it goes through several different decades. So they hit the 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and then the millennium, the 2000s. So it spans, but the focal point is the house. So each family moves into this house. But why women kill?
So is there some demon in the house that creates these women that are killing?
There is a demon in the house. There is a demon in the house. You know what it is?
You better not say M-A-N.
Men are in the house.
Folks, I know how to fix this problem. Do y'all want to see me bring Larry up here with her? We can get this problem fixed. Larry is Wild Bill, and he can fix this problem if this man bashing go a little too far.
You said, is there a demon in the house? Why these women are killed? And I answered the question. There's a man in the house each time. So
a man is not a demon. A man
well.
A human being. That's what a man is. A human being with real fear. You won't stand that at the start of this YouTube when you was talking about Christian Keynote, talking about he loved black women, blah, blah, blah. He was a man.
Oh my.
And now all of a sudden men are demons.
I was just answering the question, sir. Asked and answered.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been real. We're going to stop right there. Be sure to comment, share this video. Nicole wants to be on this channel. She wants to go over 1,000 views. She wants to be seen on Front Street. Help this young lady help this video get over 1,000 views. Nicole, do you plan on coming back next Thursday?
Sure, I can check my calendar. I right now I'm quarantined alone, so yeah. Now, if I can't make it, then that means I have a quarantine day. So.
Let me let you read this comment before we go. My folk CBFBMC.
Oh,
and he's been following this channel for a hot minute. That demon in the house is the Me Too movement. Me Too jumping in them holes up in that house. That's what the problem is.
Well, CMB brothers, won't you go watch the Why Women Kill and report back to me next week?
You know what? CMB, you do it, and I'm going to do it too. I'm going to watch it over the weekend, and we're going to all have to give report.
Yeah.
So on that note, everybody, I'm wishing y'all well. Stay safe. Me, Larry T. Strings will be back tomorrow night, bringing the heat again. There will be no estrogen on the show, but we want estrogen in the comment section. Now, we need y'all ladies to give us commentary as we try to navigate this world as one people from Wakanda forever. And until that next Sex is Hell video, we'll see you.
Bye.